Wow.
And our pantry's not like the normal pantries. A lot of pantries, they give out canned goods we give out meat, fresh fruits and vegetables, fresh breads and pastries.
Wow.
A lot of stuff that you can use right away and make meals and then have leftovers and things of that nature. So it's not a charity where you're just coming in and we're just kind of passively giving you what you think you need.
Right.
We're giving you things, you get choices. It's a choice pantry. So when we have meat, you'll have a choice between chicken, beef, or pork, or seafood. And you get to choose. And there's things out there, $30 packs of steaks, slabs of ribs, turkeys, hams, things that you can make meals for your family and then have leftovers and then feed them for a little while and not be so poor. And then you get to come 2 days later, Thursday, then Saturday, you come and you get more food to help restock your fridge.
Right.
We also do emergency baskets. And I will tell the community this. Although we're a military and veteran-based charity, we do not turn anybody away for food.
Okay.
Not one person's ever been turned. Now, we explained to the civilian population that we're a military charity, but here's a voucher today. You can get food. I'm not going to turn you away. I want your family to have food because you live in this community.
Right.
That means you're supporting the military in some way or another because you're working here or whatever, trying to work. We want to help too. I mean, we also have an aquaponic garden we're building. We're on the verge of coming through where we have an aquaponic garden, which means we have a garden that's going to be growing indoors all year round. We got fish based in the water that the water feeds the plants then filter the water and give it back to the fish, and it's kind of a returnable cycle. But we're gonna be able to produce over 400 heads of lettuce per bed, and then strawberries and all. So we're gonna have fresh fruits and vegetables, and we're gonna be able to, our eventual goal is we have a warehouse, we're doing it big, and then we're gonna establish a community garden for the city of Killeen and the surrounding areas.
That's great.
That's our goal. We're our future's going there, but we need support. We need people to donate and realize we're here. And thank God for you and the radio station for allowing us to let everybody in Central Texas know we're here, because like you said, a lot of people don't even know we're here. Some people are donating to Wounded Warrior Project because they want to give back to soldiers.
Right.
But they could donate to Operation Fan Support and help the soldiers and veterans that live right here.
Yes.
And you're not missing out. You can physically see what they're getting and know that you're helping. Right. And that, to me, I gave in the Army. I mean, we were both in the Army for a long time. 20 years I gave to CFC and different organizations. Never heard back from them. Never even got a thank you letter saying thank you for your donation. Well, here, not only do I send a thank you card out for every single donation that comes in outside of the normal $20 a month.
Right.
We let people know that here's what your numbers did. This is what we did this month when you donated that $50 or that $100 or that $500. I have a gentleman in Harker Heights, and I'm not going to blow you up, sir, but I'm going to tell he donates once a quarter, $1,000. He just sends it out of nowhere.
Wow.
But that $1,000 changes for that week or that month. It changes the whole pantry because now we can add things that we couldn't normally afford.
Exactly.
Because now we have the extra funds, so now we can make it a little bit better, and we can get more fresh fruits and vegetables. We got, like, one week he did that. We were able to go get extra watermelons. We got 4 truckloads basically of watermelons that were going on. They were wonderful, beautiful. Everybody was happy. It was heavy. I will tell you this: if you come to the pantry, bring bags because you got to carry your stuff out. All right, so you got to bring bags, and bring some sturdy bags. Don't bring a Walmart plastic bag. Bring some stuff with handles, okay? Because we don't play around at the pantry. We make sure we feed you. We make sure your family's got food. All our other programs are there just to help. Operation Monkey Wrench. The base way to give the example is that we work with Texar Automotive. They're an auto shop downtown in Killeen on Veterans Memorial. They're a great guy. Wes Lanier, he owns it. He's a veteran. He's worked it out with the charity work. The soldier comes in, they come and fill the packet out, they go over, let's say their estimate's $1,000 for their car repair, okay? What we tell the soldiers is now you donate 30% of that $1,000, so they donate $300 to the charity, to us.
Right.
Me, the Operation Fan Support, and Texas Automotive take care of the other 70%.
Wow.
So the soldier's $1,000 car repair just went from $1,000 to $300, and then the $300 is a donation to the charity.
Right.
We just happen to put that donation into Operation Monkey Wrench and use it for his car, but the point is it's a donation for the soldier.
Right.
So we're helping the soldier. We're getting a car fixed for he's getting a 70% savings. And this work is certified and backed up with warranties and all the other things that any auto shop would provide. So the soldier knows when they leave there, their car's repaired. Now they can get to and from work, kids to and from school, and they're back on the road without being broke or without having to get a loan or go get whatever. So that's what these programs are about, and that's what the charity is about. I'm passionate about it because I served 20 years in the Army. My father served 20 years in the Navy. Sorry, Dad, I don't know why, but you did Navy. My brother served in the Navy for a little while before he got out. My uncle served for 20 years in the Navy. So our family's very military oriented, and we want to pay it forward to the guys that are doing, and the guys and gals that are doing what we did. Even though we're not doing it anymore, we know what they're going through and what the potential of what they're going through. So we just want to make sure their families are, in a good position when they're not. If they're deployed right now to Korea or Afghanistan or where they might be, I want to make sure they know their family back here has got food for sure. They got things that they need, and they're doing okay, and they can come to us when there's an emergency, and we can help them and find the right direction. So that's what we're here for. Like I said, we're based here in Central Texas, but our goal one day is to expand and be near other bases one day. But I'm a very type A guy. My foundation has to be almost perfect before I start to build anywhere else. We're at the verge of where that foundation is starting to get really strong now. And now we're starting to build a structure above the foundation. But once that happens, we got veterans that are moving back to Georgia or back to Kentucky, and they're thinking about opening up Operation Family Support Fort Gordon or Operation Family Support Fort Campbell. And they have their own there. We can help them, but we have to establish food banks and different things. So there's a lot of work, but the potential is there that another veteran can get out and be the CEO of his own charity and working. We just give him the continuity book and how to build it, and I fly out there to help him get it all set up. And then he's on his own, and now he's got his own business doing the same thing we're doing here in Fort Hood. He's doing it at Fort Campbell, or he's doing it at Fort Gordon, or wherever he might be, or whatever base. Could be a Navy base, whatever, doesn't matter. The point is, because we serve all branches too. It doesn't matter what branch you're in, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, what veteran status you are. As long as you're a veteran, your DD 214 says honorable, you qualify. Doesn't matter if you serve 2 months or 12 years or 14 years, 20 years. If you have an ID card, you qualify. Family members can sign up. If their husband's deployed, if you have a spouse, you have an ID card, you can still come sign up. As long as you have an ID card or proof of service or proof of connection to the service member. But you have to be military. That's a really catch-22 to it. That's our bylaw.
Suppose, I'll say, I'm using the alphas. Let's say the alphas decided that once a month, they would donate, I'll say $40. Can they do that?
Yes, they can. And here's the way we said, that's why I built, all right, and I didn't talk about it, but she mentioned the voucher program earlier.
Yes.
All right, now as an old soldier, a lot of senior leadership or leadership in the Army don't need a food pantry, don't need the assistance from a charity. But they want to give back to their soldiers. So I developed with programs called the voucher program. And this is also open for other businesses in the community that want to support the charity, but want to be able to give back too. So what I did was I established a voucher program. So for instance, if he came in and he wanted to donate $40, then he would get 16 vouchers, because for every $20 you donate, you get 8 vouchers, which is enough for a whole month's visit.
Wow.
Right? Now, those soldiers can be all given, those tickets can be given to one individual to use for the month, or he can break them up and give 2 to them for this week and then 2 to another family, and then he makes another donation. And once he's online with us and he's a donating member or a donating recurring donor, then he can come in anytime he wants to buy extra vouchers, because he's already in our system as he's signed up. Now we put him in as a business, so he'll go in as his organization. Like she went in as her organization, Thanks for Little Things, and under Williams. But so when she comes in every month, she makes a donation and she gets a certain amount of vouchers so she can give out of her charity, which is what we want, because that brings people in that we can introduce them to the charity. If they are military veteran, we can introduce them and see if they want to join themselves to take care of their own family. Thank God for them, because they sent them over there. And we have a lot of pastors in the area. Pastor Larry from the church has got a couple pastors in the different pastors in Killeen. They're veterans. They donate $50 a month and get 40 vouchers, and then they give them out to their congregation if they need them. And their congregation comes in. Some of them are civilians, straight civilians. But that pastor was a veteran who said, this is one of the people I think needs help. And I trust his value that these people need it and they're not going to waste it or use it or abuse it. So I'm taking him as a veteran, as another veteran, I'm taking his word that he's basically vetted them and made sure that they're legit. They're coming in and we don't question them. They just bring the ticket, turn it in, bring their bags, go get food, smile on the way out because they're carrying so much they need help. And we help them out to the car and they get to go food. But that's the way the program works. So any organization can come in, any business can come in and sign up as a business. Because then we look at it as a corporate.
Where are you located?
We're at 315 East Avenue C, downtown in the historic district of Killeen, as they call it. But we're right next to Modern TV and Appliance, right there on the corner of 8th and Gray on C Avenue. So we're right in the middle. We have under a black awning. There's a little sign that says Operation Transport, because again, I'm a very very good steward of the money that we bring in. I don't waste it on advertising and all this stuff. So we're not going to build a big sign and pay all that money, because people can know it by the address and Google map it and find us. So
and for a phone number?
Our phone number is 254-449-7441. Now, I'm giving that phone number out, and please call us if you want to. The likelihood of us answering it on the day that we're open is very slim, because there's only 4 or 5 employees and we're spread out all over the place. The best way to really get hold of us is to email us at info@phantomsupport.org, because we respond to our emails, or message us on Facebook, our Facebook page. We're pretty responsive, because when we're sitting there working, we're at the desk on the computer and those messages pop up, we answer them relatively quick. But the best way is email or Facebook and message us, because I do a lot of answering that stuff on my phone, because I do use my phone like a smartphone. So and I can share contacts and I can do what I need to do. But I mean, that's the point. So reach out to us, ask the questions if you got them, we'll answer them, and then we'll get you the help if you need the help.
Well, thank you for coming.
No, thank you for inviting us
and letting us know what's going on. And my other guest, I'm glad that they're back and coming because I thought they forgot about us for a minute, but it's okay. But it's our Alpha Phi Alpha, and you all are the only fraternity that actually comes on and lets us know what's going on.
Oh,
I just said that. I'm just saying.
Ouch.
Oh. Somebody said ouch.
we'll reach out.
I mean, I talk to the other ones and I invite them, but I invite you, but I'm not going to, Yeah, so I'm just saying, alphas always do come out and let us know what you're doing in the community. So I'll say, I'm not going to say you all the only ones out there doing anything, but you all are the ones who come out here to let everybody know what you are doing. So thank you for doing that.
Well,
not just, I didn't call the name of the other people.
I understand.
I just, I just.
Give her a minute.
But good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. We're doing great.
And I need you two to introduce yourselves.
Riakos Adams. I'm the chapter president of Kappa Sigma Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
He was like, if anything's fly, I'm the second vice president.
Good morning. I'm Edward Hill, a member of the chapter as well.
Okay, see, he's like, oh, she's not going to get me. Okay, you all do some things in the community. But there's, of all the things you do, there's one thing that I really like that you do for the community, for the youth. I'm not going to say it yet. I'm going to let you say it. But it's for the youth, because our youth are our today. Mm-hmm. People say our youth are our tomorrow, but they're not, because they're already born.
Right.
So they're our youth today. So let us know what's going on.
The next event that we're hosting is Project Alpha. That is, as I say, for this is February 25th, and that is an event that we're focusing on young men this year, and we're doing, the focus is making right choices, and we go as far deep as sexually transmitted diseases, financial responsibilities, and reaction to the choices that you made.
Right.
So if you, as a young man, decide to be an adult early and have sex with a young lady, we talk to you about, prior to that happen, these are the things that you must do to make sure your child is taken care of and the young lady is taken care of.
Okay.
And also, and like I said, we also talk about choices. And this is a national program, and it's traditionally done in conjunction with the March of Dimes.
Okay.
And it kicks off in the fall of the year. We're doing ours this year in March. In February. But we'll be back on sync with the rest of the organization in the coming years.
Okay, so why do you do it?
Why do we do it?
Why was it started?
This was started to address issues mostly in the urban environment, teen pregnancy, bad choices. To address bad choices. Right. And because we are a fraternity, our focus have been young men. Yeah. Because a lot of times the issues in the community have been because of the choices of the young men.
Yes.
And we feel it is important to us to make sure our young men are raised properly. And if we can this focuses as early as the middle school here in Texas, like at the age of 12. Yeah. We get them early. So right when they're starting to feel themselves like, these decisions, we're going to talk to you now, because at the middle school area is when we can impress upon you. But we don't forget about the young men in high school. Right. Because at that point, they're now feeling them even more, and we need to talk, hey, you've already been through this, but not just to help guide them beyond high school, but also to get them to also reach the younger men as well. Right. Because I'm in my 40s. I don't like to admit it sometimes, but if talking to a young man at 12 is me talking to him is not the same as a 15-year-old or an 18-year-old talking to that young man. That's true. So we try to do that, the each one teach one concept, where we teach them and they can teach when it goes on. I
think it's part of male responsibility. If we're talking about particularly making healthy choices, you have to make healthy decisions. Is correlated with our go to high school, go to college, which is another national initiative. Again, how do you make those better choices? Right. First, you get educated, right? Yes. Then you learn how to date. Then you get married. So I think, again, it's all about training and development. We're about building better men. And if we're going to really take our rightful place, we have to train our young men in the ideas and the steps that it really takes, other than just the hip hop idea of, go get it, go make it.
Right.
It's really the training and development of how do you go from learning to dating, then to marriage, and then to families.
And with Project Alpha, as Brother Hill mentioned, to go to high school, go to college, that's our next. And that's going to be an ongoing thing.
Okay.
We've decided, and that's also based off our national programs with addressing specifically this area. And it's not just KISD, it's you have the charter schools, you have any of the private schools. So we of course we have limitations with resources.
Of course, yeah.
And then that we take these young men and we again, it's not a recruiting thing for us.
Right. Yeah.
We take them, and as Brother Hill said, we try to steer them or lead them in a way to where they make they're still their choices. But if I can use my own personal, my mother provided me every opportunity to see things so that I can make my choice later in life.
Right.
Now, I can't agree. The sergeant here said, made some bad choices. Yeah, and I did, because I got away from. Right. These are the good choices over here. Yeah. And then you have the bad choices. Yeah. And I always say, nobody needs to. The only entity at the crossroads is the devil. So if you follow a plan or the plan that God gave your parents or that God gave you, you will never be at that crossroads. So now you might have some choices where you got to go left or right, but that's not a crossroads. That's just a junction. And so we try to tell them to show them, if you go this way, this is the potential. These are the potential pitfalls. If you go this way, you may have pitfalls, you may have issues, but stick to it. You set that goal far out there and you take each step to meet that goal. And along the way, you may run into things outside, but you have people here to help you.
Okay, you mentioned college. What about trade school?
We also accept that.
Because we're going to say a trade school, I can go to college and be a teacher.
Yes.
But I can go to be a plumber and make more money than that teacher did.
You're correct.
And I went to a trade school.
And that is
and he will never, the plumber, you can't replace him with no mechanics, no computer. But the teachers, it becomes the iffy play game. Yeah. Not that they can't be replaced, but they can be reduced.
Right.
And so you got that plumber, though, he's $90 an hour. And, he can see 4 or 5 people or whatever.
And I would tell you, our fraternity has... granted, when we started to go to high school, go to college, it was to get primarily Negro men or African-American men or black men to be educated in college.
Right.
And because we had folks going in the trade.
Right.
So now college isn't, we accept that college isn't for everyone.
Right.
And that's where we go back to the choices.
Yes.
We tell you, okay, these are the schools that are out there. These are schools that we went to. This is the experience that we went to school. Now, with us, we're college educated men. So that's the approach. That's why that's the approach that we have is college. But if a young man say, well, I don't really want to go to college, so okay, then let's sit down and talk about what are your other options.
Right.
But it goes to your point, enlightenment. If you're enlightened, you are going to make better choices and you're going to be responsible and take care of your family or even the decisions that you make. Again, talking to young men, it's, how do you make the biggest dollar? And I think, again, I'm ultimately, and I'm an educator, but if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. But again, how do you help them see those choices? You can make $5 a day. Or you can make $5 a day that doubles every other day, right? So again, it's helping them see the options and looking at choices to really chart your path for you and your family. How do we create wealth? And wealth is created through enlightenment.
And then the other side of this is with them making choices, and we've already heard the 2 organizations here, is that you have to be active in your community, both giving back and civically.
Right.
Let's go to the city council meetings, not just Killeen, but Copperas Cove and Harker Heights. Let's go to the school board meetings to show them that my parents and the teachers aren't just making decisions for me. I am concerned as well, because that's another focus. If you're 17 and the election is not until after your 18th birthday, go ahead and register to vote.
Right.
So we try to promote things that way, where you are princely men walking in whether you're a plumber, trash man, whatever the case, where your family, you don't have 9 kids from 9 different women and you're paying child support, you're running from. That's not the route that you want to go.
Exactly.
And if I never experienced a young man to say that's what he wants to do, but I'm sure we have a way to try to stand the other way as well.
I'm going to ask you 2 questions. One, I'm on a governor's task force for human sex trafficking, human trafficking. And I don't know if you know, but in Bell County, we had 90 kids taken as sex trafficking. And they're males and females. And they're from the ages of 9 to 23. In Texas itself, we had over 300,000 taken for human trafficking. And you had over 300,000 for labor trafficking. So I've asked every group that's doing anything to talk to our youth to please talk about that, because we're allowing it to flourish because we don't know what it is. We don't. Now, if I asked you right now, what would you call somebody who does trafficking? What would you tell me? What would you call him? A what?
Well, if it's sex traffic pimp.
But see, actually what he is, he's called a buyer.
He's a buyer. Yeah,
so if you heard that word buyer, you at first might not know what it is, but now, you know what I mean?
For me, because I dealt with it in the military and my job there. Yes. So human trafficking, it's slavery.
Yes, it is.
It's basically, that's all. Yeah. And people that buy slaves are slavers. Yeah. Whether you use the services or just pay for the services, whatever the case, you're still part of the problem. Yeah. And it's sad and unfortunate, because when I was stationed in Korea, we talked about human trafficking. However, the U.S. has the highest amount of human trafficking in the world. Yes. And between here and Georgia, but I'm in Texas now, and my heart skipped a couple of beats, and so did Sergeant Valentine and everyone else saying, the numbers are staggering. And it kind of goes back to that child that makes that choice. And it's not just, and I've been hearing other programs about parenting. Yes. Because we keep addressing the children, but we're not addressing the parenting. There's a young lady living in my neighborhood that goes to Gateway, and she brags about being a Crip. She wrote her name on. I'm not on a war against the Crips, right? But nevertheless, I see her in the morning at 5:30 walking toward the bus to get on the Gateway bus on the far side of the neighborhood that early in the morning. Right. So it makes me ask, where are your parents? Part for me, because it's a young lady, I have to be kind of careful to ask, because I don't want to look like that creep that's asking. But when I see it, and I was like, why is she walking? She's already in alternative school. Right. Yeah. And I know because I had someone there. Right. And why are you going through this by yourself? That's the questions I ask. Exactly. So we are allowing, at what point do parents, and you and I were at a committee meeting, community meeting about this, at what point do parents say, I have to be responsible? And so, that's that outlying issue. So we address the young men being good parents. Right. That maybe, I grew up in a single family home, but my cousins and everyone else took care of my uncles and everything. So, and I came out okay. Yeah. But not saying that you have to have both parents, because some things happen. But when you have both parents, that kind of has an effect in this community with the deployments, the PCS, the change of station, and I gotta get out of using acronyms now. Things like that happen, and it's unfortunate, and it's not an excuse. Right. Because if there's something inherently wrong with you, if you can let a child go out your house and become victim to that, especially at 9 or even younger, it seems something inherently wrong with you if you have children and you pick up someone to do that. How do you? It's almost like when I hear somebody say, I got to go to war and kill somebody. Right. I'm not taking you with me. No. Because that's not, because that gene, it's almost like, and I don't want to sound like Hitler, but sometimes you just got to take these people in front of a microwave dish and walk them to sterilize them so that gene does not get on. And I'm not in a gene. It scares me that people have that mindset and lose that compassion about other people, because otherwise you shouldn't have to worry about human trafficking. It should not even be a discussion, but it's unfortunate it is. That somebody, the biggest, the consumer, is what makes it work. If you don't want it to happen, don't buy it. Because Houston is the #1 city in the United States. Yes. So I know, you figure of all things to be the biggest city in the United States in something. That means somebody. It would be human trafficking, and it's somebody. In order for it to thrive, somebody has to, because we are the United States is the biggest consumers in the world. Yeah. Exactly. And the negative, the one story when we went for the training, and this lady made a statement,
And of all the things I heard, that one statement impacted me was to say that drug trafficking, which doesn't make much money, because I can only sell that drug one time.
Right.
But a child I can sell over and over.
Yes.
Human being.
Yeah. So, that whole thing was like, oh my God, wait a minute. It was like, it was really scary.
What's even worse is the appetite for that.
That's the problem. That is the problem.
But what I want to ask the alphas is, not this time because it's later, but at another time, I would like for you all to talk about it, because it involves our kids and they need to know what's said. They need to know which kids are most likely taken, and they need to know what these tattoos are. Yes. That they mean more than just that crazy tattoo that this girl got on her neck. No,
it's a brand.
It's a brand. So but our kids need to be awakened about it.
And that's one thing. My good brother here is, as an educator, that if education is the biggest thing.
Yes.
Because if they're ignorant of it,
yes,
and it's education. Lack of education causes racism, causes poor choices. If we focus a lot on our education, it's not just the teacher's job.
Right.
It's that
true.
triad. It's us, the child, and the teacher.
Yeah.
And we've gotten so far away from that.
Okay, so can we go back? So let us know. Project Alpha.
Project Alpha
daytime
is on. It starts from 10 to 2. It starts from 10 and ends at 2. It's we're hosting in the Warrior Hall at Texas A&M Central Texas.
Oh, cool.
Which is the School of Education.
Yes.
And our site is www.killeen.youtube.com, where you can register to be a part of the program.
All right.
And also any high school seniors, those that are graduating, can go there and also apply for our scholarship.
Okay.
And we will give out in April. Okay. And then the young men that are participating in Project Alpha, we're going to keep them, and we're going to try to use them as the core to continue when I go to high school, go to college, along with the individuals that we spoke with during Impact Day that we did with KISD.
Okay.
So we're trying to keep this as an ongoing thing.
All right.
And we look to partner with other organizations, because it's not just our thing. We don't have a copyright or trademark on mentoring young men. And we're going to support even any event that are focused on young ladies, because it's not an issue. We need not to exclude ourselves from them. We know where our niche is.
Yes, right.
But we also have, because we're in this together.
Right. Okay, and my second question is this: if I provide the place, the time, and the vehicle mean mission going, will you all do a college fair?
Yeah, I think that's
very much part of our mission.
Yeah.
Go to high school,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I mean,
I only know what yes means.
Right, I said yes. That's
okay,
yes.
Okay, because you all know I got I got a date already in my head.
Okay,
and I'll talk to you about it. Okay.
Dr. King said you must hew out of the mountain a stone of hope.
Yes.
So and that's ultimately anything that's a stone of hope. That's what Alpha.
Okay.
By Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
So I got the date in my head already.
Yes,
I got the place in my head already.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. So after this, we'll talk about that date, time, and place. But we need a college fair, a real one.
Yes, we do. He and I talked about that regularly.
Okay. So it's going to be in the fall of this year.
Okay.
All right. I like that.
It might not be just one. We got to.
Well, what I mean is from up under. Remember, I'm the state education chair.
Yes.
So I can hold them wherever I want to. But anyway, and I actually can. But we need to hold them and hold the right, because our kids sometimes don't know what that means.
Yes.
And also, when we do the college fair, I would like us to talk about that person on the end down there who offers those kids that almighty credit card.
Yeah.
We need to talk to them about that person down there. That might be a no table to you, But I would like for us to get together and hold a big, huge college fair to teach our kids more information. And like I said, I got the vehicle, I got the place, I got the time, I got the day.
Okay.
So I just need you all to fall in and go, we got this.
Okay.
Good. I like that when a plan comes together. All right. I want to thank all my guests for coming on and explaining to the city that we're here, we're not going anywhere, and this is what we do. And I want more people to come on to the show, to contact me. Everybody know how to find me.
Yeah.
Everybody do. If just ask anybody, they probably can find me. But if not, on Facebook, I am myself. My picture's not there. obviously, but you'll find me. If you know me, you recognize, that's her emblem. It's got to be her. But let me know who you are and what you do in the community, because I want to help break the cycle of there's nothing going on in Central Texas. There are no organizations out here to do anything. I want to help break that cycle, and I think this way is my best way to break the cycle. And also, I want to thank everyone for listening to KISS Community Connections, 103.1 KISS FM. I want you to always remember, you cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.